Good morning, Durams. It's Friday, February 5th, and it's a Y day. I'm Emma Miller, and I'm here with Emily Harrod. Now over to Mr. Jennings with some updates.
Good morning, everyone. We are going to do some updates for you here, and let's walk through some things together. Um, so let me do some things here. All right, let's talk about the schedule. All right, so what you have here is the schedule for next week. And I want to walk through what that looks like. And Ms. Crawley and kids, Emily and Emma, help me if you have any questions. Monday is, again, an asynchronous day. Teachers may be pulling you in small groups, working on things, but that's what Monday looks like. You might be assigned some work to do. Again, this term asynchronous means that the classes would not be live. Okay? All right. Then let's talk about Tuesday, because Tuesday is a change. So if you are an A hybrid student, if you're a kid that's coming into the building and you're a hybrid student, you would be in the building Tuesday and Wednesday, which means the bus would be coming to pick you up around 10:30. Means your parents could be dropping you off around 10:30. That's what it looks like for you. And you'll come in the building and we're going to do some orientation about what things look like in the building and procedures, things like that. All right. If you're not coming in the building, which means you're a virtual student or you're a Group B student, your classes will start at 11:45. Okay? So really everybody's classes start at 11:45. It's just from 11 to 11:45, the kids in the building have an orientation. Okay? So Google Meet classes, you would log on 11:45, and then that's when your classes would start. All right? You have two classes, and then you go to lunch. There's lunch right there. And then we have two other classes. So it's a nice little 2 classes break, 2 classes. Thursday and Friday, it's the same. The only difference would be Group B kids are in the building. So now they're going to go through the orientation and learn about the building and learn about procedures. And then, again, classes still start at 11:45. So all your classes next week for every kid in Stafford County Public Schools at the middle school level, your classes are 45 minutes long. All right, they're shortened for next week. All right, students, Ms. Crawley, anything I need to add on that? Anything you feel like we need to chat about?
No, I think that's pretty clear.
Yeah, that was good.
All right, thank you for the feedback. All right, let's talk about the next thing here. Bus information. All right, the bus here, good old school bus here, is the kids who are coming in the building. You probably are thinking, am I an A or B kid? And you're probably thinking, what bus am I riding? And we're going to help you figure that out right now. So what we're going to do is click on this little bus. Let's click on the bus. And this takes you to our website. And this was posted this week. And again, kids, we realize we've got parents who watch our show and students as well. So this is good for everybody, okay? So you see this website. Ms. Crawley, do you want to talk about the website?
Sure. So if you go on our website and click the link in the gallery, the little thing that scrolls on our website and the picture changes, you'll see a link there and it'll take you to this page, and it just has some information and directions on how to figure out what bus you are going to ride to school. So that information is going to be available today at 5 o'clock. So anytime today after 5 o'clock, you or your parent can go onto the website and you're going to click on this link here. And the username is going to be your student ID number. So if you don't know your student ID number, you can look in Student View or Parent View and find out your student ID number. If you're having trouble figuring it out using those resources, you can always call the school and we'd be glad to help you find your student ID number. And then your password is going to be your date of birth, or if you're a parent, your student's date of birth. And then you're going to hover over students and click View My Students. And it's going to show you the bus information for your student. So if you need help figuring out how to get on the bus, we'd be glad to help. Just call the school on Monday and we can figure it out together.
Perfect. Because again, nothing starts till Tuesday. Monday will be here for you. All right, now back to my presentation. Or the presentation, it's not mine. All right, let's see what's next. We need to talk about coming into the school. All right, so this is again, and I realize some of you are thinking, well, I'm going to be an all virtual kid. But you know what? You might come back at some point this year, and into next year, we'll be doing some of these same things. So you 8th graders going into high school, this video is good for you as well. So this is a video that Stafford put together talking about how to safely get on the bus. All right, I'm going to hit play here. Let me change. There we go. And let's push play.
Will have a face shield that they'll use at each stop. Now, due to safety considerations and fogging and that type of thing, they won't be able to wear that safety shield when they are driving. But each driver will also have a face mask.
All right, I feel like I need to give you some context. The person talking to you is Mr. Barry Sudduth. He's our Director of Transportation, and he's talking about when you see the driver, what they may be wearing, okay? And then the rest of it's pretty self-explanatory.
On during the ride. The next thing is the seating configuration. Each seat will have a student in it, but the students will alternate, as you'll see with the configuration of the cones that we have set up. This will promote social distancing as much as possible on the school bus. Now, if there are siblings, they may sit together on the bus since they live in the same household.
Do you have a mask?
No, I forgot it. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm going to give you one for today. Please make sure you bring one in the future.
Thank you.
The next piece that we would like to share is the loading and unloading process of the bus. Students will board the bus from the back to the front. They will enter through the front door and go to the back seat, which will be marked with a check mark showing where they should be sitting. And the next student will come onto the bus and go to the opposite side where the check mark is located. As students exit the bus, whether at school or at home, they will exit from the front to the back. This will decrease the amount of contact that they have with each other while on the bus.
So I'm going to pause just to reemphasize that because that is a change. So when you get on the bus now, when they pick you up, you would go straight to, basically they're filling in from the back. So the first kid they pick up would go and sit in the back of the bus. Next kid sits in the back, and they basically keep working until you get to the front of the bus. That helps so kids aren't crossing past each other. When you get to Drew, there'll be a staff member to greet you at the bus. You're going to get off from the first. It's like the first rows will get off first, and we keep going until basically to the back of the bus, okay?
Another feature that will be used on the buses that is recommended by the Virginia Department of Health and the CDC is to maintain open roof hatches and the windows at the first level. This keeps fresh air flowing throughout the bus. In inclement weather conditions, rain, these windows do not leak at that first level, but the roof hatches will be closed. But this is to maintain fresh airflow, even with the air conditioning on in the bus or the heat.
All right, so I do want to emphasize that last part too. So kids, I know you like to get on the bus and play with the windows, this and that. I don't want you to get yelled at. I want you to know some of the changes. So it was hard to see in that little visual, but basically there's kind of like some people always keep their windows cracked on a car. So that's what they've done on the buses. Basically every window's cracked. It's about an inch. And so they're going to keep that open to help the airflow so that natural air from the outside comes into the bus and goes through it. And so that is why you'll see the windows open, okay? So I'm sharing that with you because I can see some of you, it's cold outside, I want to put my window up. And then the bus driver, no, you can't. And then you'll say, I can't hear you, your mask is over your face. So again, no, I get it. I mean, and so I would get it, you're cold and the window's there. So bundle up. The heat will be on in the bus. In the summertime, they'll have the air conditioning on, but you want fresh air, all right? And so that's the intention. So it's set about an inch across the whole bus. All right. So that's something different that we wanted you to be aware of. Anything, Ms. Crawley, students, anything you guys can think of there that we're missing?
I thought that was pretty good.
All right. Let's talk about the next piece, which is going to be...
Will have a face.
All right, so let's talk about once you get to Drew, what things will look like. So let's say you get on your little bus, here's your bus coming, and then it parks. And 8th graders, if you were here last year, and 7th graders, you would know this too, everybody came through the front doors. To help spread things out, the way it'll work is 6th and 7th grade will go through the front doors of our building, and there'll be staff there to direct you. And then 8th graders are going to walk around the building, as you see on these arrows. All right, I'm following the arrow. You're going to walk around to a side entrance right here. Okay, and that's to help spread people so there's less contact among kids. It's to help us get temperatures taken and help, basically, like I said, keep a distance. The other nice thing about this is 6th grade, when you walk in, for the most part, you're going to be going straight down these stairs to go downstairs. All right. If we zoom inside the building, you would see that. And we'll do that with you guys literally on Tuesday. 7th grade would come in and go straight down this hall. So again, we're kind of, these arrows, you're going out. And then 8th grade, when they come in over here, they walk around the hall and then go basically to the 8th grade wing, which is over here. Okay.
Right. You're gonna walk in where the gym is and then head back to the back 8th grade hallway.
Yes. So again, is it the fastest way to get there? It may not be. The point is to keep people separated so you have less contact with other people. Okay. And that helps with bumping into somebody else and spreading germs, things like that. So that is how we're going to enter the building and exit the building. All right. So if you are in the building for the rest of this year, most likely into next year as well, when we dismiss buses, that's how you'll exit. 6th and 7th grade through the front, 8th grade through the side. Okay. Let's talk about walkers and car riders. If I'm a walker, I'm going to come through the side doors right here. There's a little path that leads from the neighborhood. There's a nice little crosswalk right there. And you're going to enter, and if you were here last year, this is how we did it, but you would enter right here what we consider the elective wing. Okay? So you're still coming in that way. No real change for you. Car riders, your parents will be, unless you're driving, you're not, I hope. Anyway, car riders, parents will be directed to the back of the building, as we've been doing this year for distribution. And they're going to drop you off where...
and textbook distribution, yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to drop you off where there's a back door there by the cafeteria. And before you get out, well, your car will pull up. You'll get out of the car, and basically as you're standing by the car, somebody will have a temperature thermometer, and we'll check your temperature, make sure it's good, and then you'll come into the building, and then you'll go to your first block class, your 1X or 1Y based on the day, okay? But as you see, we've got 4 entrances and exits we're using to help keep people separated as best we can, okay? So car riders would come in through the cafeteria. End of the day, when we call car riders, you're going to go to the cafeteria. You're going to wait there, and your parents this year will have a number. And when we call basically your number / your name, you would come out to get in the car. Okay, and we'll explain more of that for people on, the day of Tuesday and the kids who are riding cars, okay? Walkers, when you leave the building, you'll exit through that elective hallway as well, okay? So again, car riders, we changed where you leave and where you enter. You're coming in, you're leaving through the cafeteria. Why are we doing all this? To keep you safe and healthy, and it helps us keep things organized and running effectively. I worked for years as a manager at Chick-fil-A, and I tell you, I love a good drive-through. So, all right, Miss Crawley, anything I'm missing there? Anything you can think of?
No, good job.
I have a question. So, like, for the students that if their temperature is like bad, what would happen to those students? Like, where
Perfect.
did they just go home or?
I love it. I love it, Emma. So if your temperature's over 100 degrees, and this is what we think about, they do check your temperature, before you get on the bus. But we have to realize too, and this is why we're going to take your temperature when you get off the bus and you get out of your car. If you're sitting in a car and the heat's blasting on you and we try to take your temperature, it's going to be hot because you're sitting in a hot car. So we're going to look and see, basically, we may ask you to stand to the side, give it a few more minutes and see if the thermometer's reading it correctly, see if it's just a fluke, see if it's accurate. If it turns out again to be high, we'll talk with your parents and see, hey, what do you think here? What's going on? The temperature's high. If you were on the bus and that happened, we have a room that basically is set aside for kids whose temperature's too high, and we would send you to that room to basically monitor. We'd have our nurse check in with you. Again, we want to see, is it real? Is the thermometer accurate? If it is, then we would call the parents and say, hey, your temperature's over 100. We're going to need you to come pick up the child because, again, we're not sure why the child has a fever, okay? So it's not going to be alarmed like, you're over 100, get out. We're going to check again and make sure and see if there's other factors going on. But basically, if you are over 100, we would send you to a room within the building. We call it a quarantine room, where basically you're going to stay in this room until we kind of do some more checking and some more testing. Does that help, Emma? Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. No, I appreciate that. That's good. Good questions. All right. Let's go to our next little slide. What we can talk about. All right. So kiddos, you need to have a mask. There are different types out there. I'm holding up one of the more like surgical disposable ones. The Drew staff here got one of these beautiful red ones. We may set up a fundraiser for you guys to buy them if you want. They're very comfortable. The ears adjust, and they're really kind of nice to breathe through, and it's got the cotton. It's got our Drew colors. All right, there's my advertisement. They're really nice. Thank you, Miss Ivory. So you have to have a mask, okay? If you don't, if yours breaks, this and that, we'll give you one, but you need to have a mask. I want to talk about this because there's a school division. There's some things you cannot wear, and I don't want you guys to show up and be like, I wore a face covering. So one of the things we're not allowing, and this is the school division across, is, and I'm looking for an example. I don't have one with me, but what they're called gaiters. And they're like the neck things that kind of go through your neck and then they go over your face. So we're not going to be allowing those. And here's why, is they basically are so thin that the air gets through pretty easily and the droplets can go out, but it's really not giving you protection. Now, if you want, and I do have some gaiters, not with me in my office, but if you had one of these masks on, okay, and then you had a gaiter over it, which I like to do because one, it keeps it pushed, and then I'm outside doing car rider duty and keeps my neck warm, that's fine, okay? But overall, the gaiter itself is not enough protection. So if we see you with a gaiter, don't be surprised if a staff member says you're going to have to put a mask on under the gaiter, okay? And then the second thing is a bandana. Again, the bandana by itself, because it's not tight over the face, is not enough protection. So we would give you a mask to put on as well. And then on there, it also says vented mask. I need to show you a visual of those. Again, if we have a concern about the mask you're wearing, if it's a vented mask, we'll look into it. We may give you one of these, okay? But I don't want you to, I want you to think through it if you're coming in the building, what you should be wearing. All right, let me go to next slide. All right, this slide, it basically just says how to wear a mask properly. And it talks about keeping your mask clean, which is if it's not a disposable one you throw away, then you wash it. And then this is one of our final slides here for kids coming in the building. What do I bring? So this year we're not doing lockers because, again, we're trying to keep things very smooth running. And so what you should bring is a book bag. It could be a little drawstring book bag, that's fine. You want to have your Chromebook inside of it with a charger, because you'll be using that throughout classes, and school supplies, a pencil, a notebook, a highlighter, typical school things. So look under your beds, dig through your closets. I'm sure you got some notebooks and stuff somewhere, but anyway, those are kind of the basic things you need, okay?
Can I just add to maybe get into the routine of charging your Chromebook every night, and then if it's fully charged in the morning, it'll last you the whole school day, and you won't have to worry or stress about getting it charged. So maybe start a new routine of just if you're not already charging your Chromebook every night.
Perfect. And then some things, again, as we do some different things here, on the bus, you'll be maybe using your cell phone. You'll be using headphones. You might be on your smartwatch or a gaming device or something. And that is allowed on the bus. When you get into the building, we'll remind you to turn it off and then basically put it in your book bag. Normally at the middle school, we say turn it off, put it in your locker. But I don't have a locker, I know. So you're going to put it in your book bag, have it away from you, and then your book bag will be, under your desk. It'll be out of sight. If you are seen with a cell phone, then we'll take it. And you'll get it back at the end of the day. If it becomes a consistent problem, well, then we get your parents involved and we go from there, okay? Some other things, especially since it's still cold outside, hoodies, we take the hoods off. It's a sign of respect. If you have a hat on, you take the hats off, headphones off, things like that, okay? And really, it's for safety, too. It's kind of weird. We're going to let you wear a mask, but no hats or hoods. But these are interesting times, people. All right, I feel like I've covered enough. Let me see if I have anything else. We do. Last thing is to figure out, Ms. Crawley, you want to talk about the AB part again?
Sure. So just to go over this again, I know we talked about it yesterday, but if you log into Student View, you can click class schedule in that navigation bar and your schedule will pop up. And at the end of each class, there'll be a letter. So if you're in the A group, Group A, you'll have an A at the end of each class and you'll be in the A group. If you have a B at the end of each class, then you are in Group B and you will show up Thursday and Friday.
All right. All right. Well, we hope this was clear for you. We are going to take this portion of our morning show and put it on for parents to watch to help. We're looking forward to seeing you guys on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whenever you're coming in. We do miss seeing your faces. I'll say also right now, and you'll hear this next week, starting next week, your teachers will be encouraging all of you, those of you not in the building, to turn on your cameras. There's a couple reasons for that. The technology's changed. We're going to have less kids on the cameras with kids in the building. So we're going to be encouraging kids at home to turn their cameras on. There's some things you can do to blur your background if you're worried about what people see behind you. But you'll be hearing about that next week as well. So I wanted to speak to that just because it's another change.